Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first playday of the brand new Talent Series by Talent League R6. And while I'm here for today's game, it should be a lovely matchup between Puffi2K and WeSports. And well, joining me here for this evening's entertainment, it's the one, the only, it's Uncooked. How are you doing this evening?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to get into, like you say, the first matchup of the Titan series, which it looks like it will be a lot of fun. So
Oh yes,
this is a Group A matchup right here.
and we
GSL style groups. So it should be quite exciting here. We've got best of threes for you in this group stage. And this one, WeSports YGS, we saw them in the Season 6 Champions Series. They got knocked out in the first round by Loud, 8-7, 8-7. So definitely quite
yeah.
close, despite what the 2-0 scoreline might lead you to believe. So we know that they can perform, but they just had trouble closing out maps. To be fair to them, Loud did make it to the grand finals, so that does show, again, some skill on their part, and the fact that WeSports were able to take them to overtime twice
Oh yeah,
shows some good
definitely.
resilience on them.
Yeah, they did have a strong opponent up in Loud, and again, like you mentioned, 8-7, 8-7 is a ridiculously close way to lose a series. 2-0, obviously, but doesn't really get quite reflected in that one. I think there's going to be a little bit of interest around Puffi2K, a team I personally haven't seen before, not one from our last season of Talent League. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got up their sleeve, what they're prepared to bring out. I mean, we're looking at this best of three, obviously, so seeing what maps the teams might lean a little bit more into will be fun to see. We're not going to get a classic Oregon into Clubhouse game, which there's been quite a few infamously, but hopefully a little bit of variety in our map pool today, which, is there anything
Uh,
you're particularly
it,
looking forward to seeing?
it Clubhouse into Oregon, unfortunately. So
Oh,
just the other way around.
oh,
And
oh.
then if we do get to map 3, it will be Villa. So quite standard maps here, nothing too spicy, but then it's a first play day, you want to try and play it safe. And speaking of Puffi2K, I want to just say they also have shown great resilience in our qualifiers for the Talent League, for the Titan Series Season 1. Sorry,
Hmm.
they took a 7-5 loss to Humble Academy, in the first round in the upper quarterfinals, but then won every single map in the lower bracket to win and qualify for this. So, you have some pretty good scorelines as well: 7-2, 7-4, 7-3, 7-4, and 7-4 to qualify. So, yeah, also a team that we've seen have a lot of success, and a team that hopefully will be able to bring some punches to one of the top 6 teams in Talent League.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, those are impressive scorelines, like you say. It means they're always picking up those defensive rounds and they're holding their own on attack as well, which I think is going to be the biggest thing to see the teams doing throughout all of this event. Really, is just which teams have that fluidity on attack, just to put up the big numbers. You're seeing at the moment the importance of hitting half time. If you're starting on that attack at a 3-3, just to really put you in comfortably. I mean, if you can push that 3-3, especially with how the win rates work for defense, most of these maps are defender sided. You're taking that 50%. You're doing a great job for yourself.
Yeah, it's really quite something. The attacks we're seeing. Obviously, the Six Invitational happening
Yeah.
right now as well. A lot of maps are tending to be attacker sided at the moment, at least in that tier 1 play. So it's going to be interesting. These defensive rounds are where teams really need to bring in the pace, and it
Yeah.
it's all about controlling the matchup, which, due to some recent changes, I think the attack is having a lot more success with. Just controlling the pace of the rounds, controlling the aggression. You need to control it, because otherwise it will just get away from you. And that's why we tend to see a lot of these 7-1, 7-2s, because a team starts off well and the momentum just carries them through. The other team is just not able to regain that control inside of the matchup. But with a best of 3, we have a lot of opportunity to see these sort of swings in momentum. One team getting 7-2 and then the other team getting 7-2 on the very next map. So it all comes down to that momentum and controlling the matchup.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, the momentum of, especially with map changing, that's always going to be the biggest one. It's just making sure, even if you fall at that first hurdle on map number 1, you pick yourself up again before you go into the next one. Because usually a team will lose to their opponent's pick and then be able to recoup their losses on their own. So we'll have to see if that kind of rings true today. But yeah, I mean, the first map then, being Oregon, obviously a bit of a knife plunged into my heart there, as I was really
Clubhouse.
hoping the first map's Clubhouse.
Yes, the first map is Clubhouse, and then the second map is Oregon.
Oh, we're getting both of them. Okay, well, we're in for an absolute treat on this one then. I mean, like you
Oh
say,
yeah.
hopefully the teams will be a little bit more prepared with what they're coming to bring to the table. They will know and feel quite comfortable on both of these maps. You'd hope they are, at least,
Yeah.
because we're looking at some of the top contending teams amongst the lot that we've seen. Really, you want to be very confident on your attacks on Clubhouse. Same likewise with Oregon. I think the operator bans are going to be really interesting to see what differentiates this game of Clubhouse from, well, any other. A big one you'll be looking at is the Maverick. I'd expect Maverick to get taken off the board very early on. I personally think Maverick is possibly the best attacking operator for Clubhouse as a map.
Yeah. Also, with Clubhouse, you do tend to see some of those hard breach bans as well. Obviously, not just Maverick, but you can see Hibana, Thermite sometimes, if teams really want to go balls to the wall. And sometimes the Thatch will come through because you don't have much hard breach left to try and trick stuff with, especially, Maverick, with his ability to be able to trick those electrified walls with the torch. It creates such powerful positions. You can also create lines of sight through reinforced walls just by doing just a little spot or a little line. And it's one of those operators that is crucial to the control of the pace, because if you can just get that reinforcement open really quickly, especially if you have a Kaid band, all you need to do is get a little bit out, shoot out the bandit batteries, and that's pretty much the wall prepped for your Thermite to come along and just open up the entire wall. Thinking of CCTV, that defense, you want to see, teams. We're seeing a lot more bandit tricking come
Yes.
back
Which I'm
as
glad to
Maverick is
see.
becoming more meta. Yeah, I love bandit tricking. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun to try and do as well, but it's quite
Yeah.
infuriating when it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, especially with Ace being a little bit more tricky with some of the timing on there, as well as, I mean, it's always amusing to see. You always feel bad for the defender when it happens, but getting caught out by an exothermic charge that's one embarrassing way to show up in the kill feed. But it doesn't happen very often, but it's a treat when it does. I mean, I do wonder who has, when sometimes you see the tweets of like players with the most whatever, like most kills, KBR, or whatever. I'd be interested to
Yeah.
know who has the most exothermic charge kills. It'd be a fun one to see. I mean, or maybe it'd be more interesting to see who's died to it the most.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, sometimes you don't even have, your bandit player. It's just someone with just
Yeah.
not paying attention to the
Yeah,
game
exactly.
die as
Yeah.
well. So I think we're ready to head into our first map, Clubhouse,
Lovely.
now, with WeSports youngsters being on the defensive side, I believe. So,
Interesting.
what do Puffi2K, this isn't their map pick. They decided to start on
Yeah.
the attack. So again, it's this sort of this preference towards the attacking side, especially on Clubhouse. We're seeing that become a lot more attacker favored as this season has gone on.
Yeah, I always wonder when teams choose to start on the attack because I certainly understand the idea behind it. You know, you get to start on that attack, you have control of the map game as the attackers because obviously you're the ones working against the time, but more importantly, you get to dictate the pace of each individual round as you move through the building. The difficulty for me and why I will always stand by starting on the defense is that your life as a defender is just that much easier. Your job is to set yourselves up, you feel comfortable around you, you have your surroundings, you take your bearings, and then you wait for the assault to begin. And you have a little bit more options for quirkiness or to try and catch your opponent off guard early in a map, and especially in a long series like a best of three. If you go for a spawn peak on round number one and you catch someone off, just that little bit of a mind game where you might be able to catch them off or send them questioning for the rest of the round is always going to be important. But an interesting spread of bans here. I mean, the Buck is the only one I would say is particularly quirky. The Thatcher, the Cade, and the Mirror, all very understandable to remove on Clubhouse. What you thinking of this Buck ban? Anything specific you can think of that they might be trying to go for here?
I am a massive fan of Buck bans because you get the sense that this team, they're thinking Buck is very much in the meta right now. The skeleton key is so very powerful, and you're thinking of maps with very strong vertical play. Clubhouse is definitely one of them, especially if you're attacking onto that basement site.
Yeah.
He is absolutely lethal if you have an unreinforced hatch. That one shot of that skeleton key, it will be open. You're thinking of that main corridor outside of the main stairs, can just skeleton key that open. You're thinking, even the hatch into logistics, that is always a soft hatch, and if you're not bringing a sledge, which I mean, I would tend to bring sledge instead of Buck anyway because you have your grenades, or bring both of them. But we're going to see, actually, neither of those operators come out. Obviously, Buck is banned, but Sledge won't be. Obviously, you have your Maverick, which, you are saying is possibly one of the strongest operators inside a Clubhouse. I'm inclined to agree with you, honestly. And, yeah.
I mean, I think the big reason for it, if anyone not, questioning why I'm hold it in such high opinion, it's just because of these important vertical outside walls. You're looking just outside to the server room here. There's the double wall that's been reinforced up. I believe it's the frost that worked on that one. And you're looking at the wall on Jacuzzi. Both of these walls, they're looking at holding gym bedroom at the moment. But the way defense plays, you extend across the whole of this top floor. You want to hold as much space as possible. And early on, that's a loss of a player. I believe that's the Frost who's actually dropped out of the game. Thankfully, there is no active utility that a Frost has to use. Those three welcome mats have been placed down. The shield will have been set up. The interesting thing for me here, though, is that they have 3 bulletproof cameras on the side of the defense. Bulletproof cameras have received a bit of a buff. They've been changed up just a little bit in the recent patches. But I think it's particularly interesting when you're looking at the Mute, who's brought it over, say, a Nitro Cell.
Yeah, no C4s on the side of WeSports youngsters right now. You can just see this ADS is getting bugged on red stairs. I do find that a bit odd, and that's a nice kill from Feed to start us off. 3 versus 5 now, as obviously we did have that player disconnect earlier on, and Critical will be able to find one back with the DMR. I have to say, I am not a fan of DMRs. I think you should always be taking an AR over the DMR. Like, especially when you still have guns as strong as the P10 Roni, as strong as I'm seeing DMRs on really weird operators where you just think they shouldn't be, like Maverick, for example. Hunter with a nice 2K to sort of swing the round back in the favour of WeSports YGS, and that's going to be a third. What went wrong here?
Well, I'm a little bit puzzled myself. When you're in that 5 versus 3, you have so much control, and well, it's all down to the Maverick to try and figure out what he's going to do here. But Murphy was able to find the first, and well, a minute still on the clock. He has a drone in pocket. There's plenty of time for him to be able to check and scope out his surroundings, look for an option to move into sight. I'm sure his team are relaying him some information as they still have a couple of drones up and around, scattered across the map. But no, he's just going to walk and drive into the peak. He sees the smoke in the doorway.
Oh,
you can't be
no.
losing those gunfights. It's so unfortunate the turnaround from the smoke just in the nick of time to catch out the Maverick. A lovely shot to catch the head so quickly, but you have to wonder, was that a missed opportunity?
That is so unfortunate. Merku almost able to find the 1v3 clutch, but just wasn't able to get it over the line. I think in that situation, yeah, that's so difficult, and still two very nice picks in the early part of that almost clutch. But yeah, just Split's able to shut it down by the end then.
Early on, because you start the round at that 4 versus 5 disadvantage. To have that accelerated by losing a man as the first actual pick, it's never going to help. But they did a good job of just recovering there, and I think that's the advantage of that sort of a hold. When you have so much space and you can play so slow behind cover, they should do a good job picking up the frags. Although I think Puffi2K, they need to be a little bit more vigilant in making sure that when they're sending their entries in, when they're looking to continue picking up picks, they're sending in drones ahead of them. But not only that, they're looking for these refrag options, because we didn't see a single one come out of the attack after they took that advantage.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, it's... Hopefully we won't see a player disconnect this time, so we have 5v5 for the entire round up until the first kill. And, WeSports, they did a good job to combat the approach despite having one less player. So, yeah, we are definitely seeing maybe this experience sort of taking hold for WeSports right now. Either way, we're going to head to CCTV. The Maverick should hopefully be able to get these walls open very quickly. No bandit tricking this round, however, as the walls will just stay electrified for the whole thing. Drone work coming through as well, and the 30 seconds have been burnt out. It's just a bit of a stalemate, even still.
Yeah, and they're trying to clear out from this gym bedroom side, and well, that's just to make sure no one's creeping up behind them. It might indicate an attempt at taking construction as well, which is something I haven't seen too many teams rock around recently, something which used to be a little bit more popular. Infamously, BDS had a lovely take on this site where they would take from construction. But we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. A minute gone, and so far the defense haven't really been challenged. A decent amount of control taken up. Now Yana jumping back outside as they're peeking around these site windows, just looking to see what they can get as well. Grenades coming in. This is an attempt to stop that bandit tricking, as the walls should be cleared out a little bit. Habana trying to open up garage at the same time, and able to get the injure down onto Spills. That's a really nice pickup, but I don't think this grenade's going to quite land in the spot. Never mind, it does. Problem is that Hunter able to find the pick onto the sledge in the background, which means the 1-for-1 trade. You still got P13 hiding away in garage, and he just wants to try and stall out as much time as possible now. You don't want to give up that control to the attackers. Even if this breach is open, it's going to be about playing very patiently behind these bunkers.
Yeah, Imprudenta being taken down quite low as well. I'm assuming that's by some bullets. And you get this sense that Puffi2K, they are just sort of stalling out right now. They've only got a minute left, and what map control do they have? It doesn't matter, though, when Merku is hitting shots like that. Zarok will go down. Now, 3 versus 4. Still P13 locking things down from the garage rafters, and you get the sense Puffi2K, they need to do something soon, and that's going to be Imprudenta taken down. 3 versus 3 now as the refrag comes in from feed. Hunter again with the trade, as we're just getting trades back and forth now. 40 seconds left, and Critical and Hunter, they need to try and lock this down and prevent the push from Puffi2K.
Yeah, they're trying to walk up garage stairs here, taking that rafters control. 30 seconds still left. The diffuser in the pocket of the Habano, waiting outside that main breach. No one currently watching, though. Hunter, the bandit downstairs, looking for a flank. Maybe a late Nitro cell, but it's Critical able to find feed. And, well, the Habano's going to walk straight in. That's the Nitro cell placed by the bandit below to see through the round. Even it is on the wrong side of the server rack. Well, you know what? It was placed well to cover both sides. Congratulations. And I mean, another solid hold by WeSports here. Even if, you know, things started off like Puffi2K might have found a good pace themselves, that didn't really carry across the whole round.
Yeah, I think that entry to the building was just a little bit slow, being on that 2-minute 30 mark, especially on the other side of the map. You would hope they get in a little bit earlier than that. As well, you know, I was going to question the choice from Critical to bring the suppressor on the Elder, but it doesn't really matter when you're hitting headshots like that. I mean,
yeah.
That's such a nasty angle. I think people will be using that in ranked from now on, because you just get such a long line of sight, and especially when you have that LMG where you can just hold down the left click button, you don't really need that, you know, that big scope to be able to kill your enemies.
Yeah, it was a lovely time when we had the 2.5, that ACOG scope on the Elder, but you know, the things, you know, one can't have nice things because it was a little bit broken, especially on the initial patch when it also had ridiculous hip fire that got more accurate the more bullets you fired. I remember sitting so many times just chilling back in Consulate. You sit in the theatre room and you just chill behind a desk. You'd have a deployable shield, because he also had a deployable shield back then. Old deployable shield, admittedly, so, you know, still not as good, but still good cover. You'd sit tight, have an absolute laugh, just burring people down with the Elder. I mean, you still burr people out with the Elder, just not as effectively. I mean, Critical doing a great job of demonstrating its potential still. Although this has been an interesting spawn peek here, as Critical once again rocking that suppressor. Maybe it's just a stylistic choice. He likes the sound of it.
Maybe. I think that's the only advantage that the suppressor provides, because you can still hear it, and, well, Imprudence will get taken down. That's your thermite off the board, so now all of your hard breach capabilities will need to be on the Habana of Struso. Fuel's just trying to see if they can get this long angle over, but looks like Critical has just pulled back to the logistics office. And now, Puffi2K, you've had an early fall, an early death, and what can you do to try and regather this round? Because WeSports, they're looking to make this a swift 3-0 and maybe even try and take even more of a round count advantage. Feed does have intel, but it's all nearly, but will get taken down. Critical only taking about 10 hit points worth of damage, which means he's able to get that second kill. The wallbang not able to come through. Struso taken down, and that's a 180 flick of a lifetime. Not quite able to find the head of Merku coming up the red stairs, and finally his reign of terror has been ended inside of CCTV cache. But what has just happened? This round is now basically dead for Puffi2K. It's going to need to be a 2 versus 5 clutch up for these players here. And, well, they've got 1, but they still have 4 more to find. About 80 seconds left to go now, and they're still on that top floor.
Yeah, so starting to work away on the flooring of this corridor, trying to give themselves some options to look down and move that default camera in just a second if they can. Yep, there we go. That should be out of action. But yeah, like you say, only a minute left. They haven't yet opened up any of these hatches. The Nitro Cell, well, that's going to be gone. There's no more in the pocket of the defense, even if they do have the Valkyrie, who might be able to give them some information as, well, bullets come flying up through the roof. A little bit of hesitation there from P13 on that Tachanka. The shield will be removed by the frag grenade from the sledge, but I mean, they only really have this one staircase to work through. It's a very one-dimensional assault with not having any of those hatches open. I don't really see a way that this ever works out in the favor of the attackers. They're just trying to pepper some shots down range, trying to find out what's going on, and maybe just investigate a little bit before they commit to a push. But ultimately, the time just isn't there for them to really be able to do this.
Yeah, Spliz going to take some damage from the grenades, but that's going to be Zarok to take down Merku, and Spliz will take down Fuels in just a second after, if not less. That's going to be a very nice defensive win for WeSports YGS. They're going to be very happy with that. Even if it was on the back of Hunter and some ridiculous plays on the top floor, that is still what you need, and that's critical even. Or was it Hunter? No, it was critical.
Critical.
It was critical. I'm getting my names confused now. That has completely fried my brain. And we're going to see bar stage, so a 4-site rotation now for WeSports, which, that's a treat. You never really get to see it, but they're feeling a bit confident and they want to try and show off what they have been able to do, maybe in scrims or at least in practice. I love seeing bar stage defenses, especially now that the site is more viable, and we're going to see critical on the Oryx again because vertical play is just so important on this site.
Absolutely. Yeah, you really need to be able to hold down as much around the site as possible because, well, it's kind of an open, a little bit of exposed as a site. Hasn't really been very popular historically for those reasons, even if that bomb has now been moved from inside of the storage room, just in one more layer to stage. But yeah, we'll be interested to see how they choose to set this up. Again, rocking that Oryx, which, I mean, obviously suggests that they're going to try and go for a top-heavy roam. They're going to try and have these hatches open, give themselves some option if they want to maybe go for a late round flank or maybe just cause some more problems. But I still think the big thing here is just make sure you don't lose anyone early on. It doesn't look like a spawn peak's coming in. But on the side of Puffi2K, there's quite a few times now that they've just kind of given up free picks by just being a little bit careless. I don't want to see that happen again. I want to see them find their footing and start to put some hurt into WeSports, because so far, I mean, outside of that first round, even then they kind of slipped apart and weren't really able to hold that composure. I really like to see them kind of give up these dirty habits almost.
Oh.
Never mind.
Infradens, they're going to fall. 0-4 on your Thermite, and obviously you don't expect your hard support to be fragging out, but you do at least want them to have some presence inside of these rounds. Fjord's with the refrag onto P13, that's going to be the Tachanka going down, and that's actually your plant denial, as there's no smoke going to be brought by WeSports. Spliz as well going to take some damage, but is the sledge even aware? I don't know. I think WeSports have been able to just get away, and actually the hatch drop, that is going to be the defending player just able to disappear. Critical as well with that deployable shield above, just also able to slip away, and as he's on the Oryx, he can possibly go for a bit of a flank, actually drop down another hatch, some vertical spray through the floor there. Merkel will take down Hunter, but Spliz, he's still unaccounted for, and he will be able to take down Struso, also 0-4, which is not what you need, since it's only these 3 players that have actually had impact inside of these rounds. Feed with the drone, and actually Merkel as well, just gathering intel, while Fiols is the only player with their gun up right now.
Yeah, they're just looking to see where they can kind of approach from, because, well, with Spliz running all around the map, you've currently lost Oryx down into that basement. You don't want to make an uncertain approach. You don't want to get caught out, which we've seen happen to them time and time again. Instead, the long angle's being held, but critical. Caught off as he tried to rotate through the basement. Feed able to pick up that kill, but Spliz somehow finding the Maverick in the midst of all of that. And now it's down to the 2 versus 2. The health advantage also in favor of the attackers, the defenders even, especially when you consider the fire rate on their weapons, a little bit higher than those of the ARs of the Yana and the Sledge. Spliz now creeping for his 4th, isn't able to find it. The Sledge, Floz, she's going to shut that one down. He's not going to allow that to become more of a problem than it already has been. And now Zarok, the drone information's on him. They know where he's playing around this bar stage area. Looking to see if anything he can find, but no, Feed just can drop that diffuser in a safe position. The walls reinforced, so we can't actually get access to the Yana. Have to try and take the 1v1 with the Sledge, able to find it, but are they aware? Do they know the Yana's lurking just around the corner? The red ping comes out, yes they do, looking for the spray, able to find it. The clutch from Zarok in the 1 versus 2, WeSports complete the 4-site rotation.
You usually talk about site triangles. Try a site rectangle. WeSports 4-0 up right now. We have been on the Clubhouse World Tour. Every single site and every single site successfully won. Albeit a 1 versus 2 clutch by Zarok with some nasty headshots out on the end there. We're going back to gym bedroom, Golu. And you know, WeSports, they're looking to start where they left off in just winning these rounds.
I propose that we instead of I do appreciate the geometry there with the rectangle. I think it fits, but I think just from a kind of where the sites are, I think the Y is a little bit more representative. You know, you've got the two on the top, comes down to one in the middle, then one just below that one again. I think personally, I've always preferred letters to mathematics, and my maths wasn't my strong point in school. Let's just say that. You know, so having to figure out all these shapes just gets to my head a little bit. So if you're like me and you need that more of a simplified, I'm gonna roll with that for the time being. But please feel free to stick to confusing me with shapes if you want to. Back to this top floor, though, like you say, this is the first round we saw from WeSports, and this time they'll get to attempt it with that full 5-man roster, no longer man down at the beginning. We're going to see if, well, this is the only round that Puffi2K were able to get the opening pick. Was that due to a little bit more space afforded to them due to the loss? I want to say it was Zarok.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Who was riding the Frost at the time, now onto this Jaeger instead, deciding that the Frost isn't what they're going to be going for in the game anymore. We'll have to see how that changes up. They do have some Nitros this time, bringing 2 instead of just the 1, but still choosing to keep the bulletproof camera in the pocket of that mute, which hasn't been yet deployed, but I'd be very interested to see where we end up dropping that down or what that sort of provides. As the window on the stairs gets opened on up.
Yeah, some free fires through, but nothing will be found. Feed as well, just trying to act on some of that information. However, mute jammers will be blocking these drones. We haven't actually seen much of the Gemini replicator coming out as Feed does choose to use the drone. I think it'll probably get jammed, but actually no. And they've found the location of Zarok. Will he be in a position to get wallbanged? I don't think he is, as more of these barricades get opened up. A nice pre-fire, but Zarok will be able to take down Floz. As now WeSports, they have the man advantage yet again, but even if they don't, it hasn't seemed to stop them. However, Critical, he hasn't been able to be stopped either. Zarok just dipping and weaving out of here, and that's going to be a second kill just through the drone hole, and it's all down to Imprudenza and Merku. One of those players, the Thermite, has not been able to find any kills so far. This would be the round to find your first, and Merku will start by taking down Hunter. 6 and 4 right now, as he's equaling the number of kills of Hunter and Critical, 2 of the most impactful on the side of WeSports. However, just because of one player does not mean that your team will start winning. Imprudenza taking some damage as well. And it's just 80 seconds left, and just 80 seconds for Puffi2K to find these last 4 kills in a 2 versus 5 clutch again we would need to see from them. Merku can't quite get the silent crawl through. We'll be able to do it with some shots. I wonder if it would have been better just to destroy the barricade, as there are no players actually down here. All 4 on site, and now 1 minute left to go. It's all down to this last few gunfights.
Yeah, and well, they're gonna have to hope for something of a miracle. The barbed wire will give the position of Merku away as he tries to walk up the stairs. Gonna go for the punch instead. Doesn't want his movement to be impaired, and Imprudenza has gobbled up his donut. The first kill on the board, and the Valkyrie is gone. He's in fact on the baguette, making his way through the pastry shop, but Merku, looking to continue his rampage, can't quite find the kill. The Castle Bandit crossfire, which is a little bit too much for him to deal with. And P13, not satisfied with 1, looked for the second, able to find it through the holes they made in the construction wall. And well, that's another round taken by the defense here of WeSports. And I think at this point, Puffi2K may be starting to regret taking that attacking option.
Yeah, and now, you know, this is the last round of this half, but when they do get onto their defense, you've got to wonder how their mental and how their comms are after that. This is WeSports map pick, so we would expect them to be a bit more proficient on it than Puffi2K, but also this is Clubhouse. This is one of those bread and butter maps inside a Siege that if you are like losing it,
yeah,
it's, especially in this fashion, you've got to wonder how the rest of their map pool is. This is a map that everyone should be comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, I will say in Puffi2K's defense, they haven't looked lost. And they've looked like they have their semblance of their attack. The problem is that WeSports are just playing around it very well. They're not letting Puffi2K find their footing here. I think another example of this is, well, they're bringing out a clash. They're changing up the operator lineup once again and trying to throw another problem at Puffi2K. They're not giving them an opportunity to find their feet. And I mean, last time we had this site, it was a little bit of a mishmashed assault towards the end, because you had the start of the push, Yana making her way through from Jacuzzi balcony into the bedroom. Meanwhile, you had Habana trying to open up the garage walls. You had Thermite and Maverick working their way on the main breach. This time, they've swapped Impredenza off of that Thermite onto this Ace pick instead, which is interesting because it makes it a little bit harder to bandit trick. I think they expect that after the last time they assaulted this site. Maverick, though, instead of starting elsewhere, making their way very early on towards the main breach, up into server, although it looks like the time being they're toying around with this clash just a little bit. And I mean, critical there, if you can just keep stalling out as much time as possible before the round really gets started, you're never going to complain about that. I think instead, though, they're going for the classic Habana-Yana pairing of just trying to flashbang and grenade up into this server window to get the breach open up, which is interesting when you have that Maverick option available.
Oh dear.
Yep.
That's not great. Struso not able to find a kill inside of this half. They'll be taken down first by, I think that was Zarok. And critical, I was going to question the point of putting one of your top fraggers on the clash, but the SPSMG will be able to strike and take down Impredenza. So now it's only the Maverick left inside of this hard breacher sort of setup that Puffi2K have going on right now, and you get the sense that this is going to be a flawless half for WeSports YGS already. They're in a 5 versus 3. They still have that clash on board, make it 5 versus 2, as Hunter will be able to take down Feed. So now it's just Floz and it's and it's Merku, but now it's just Merku as Hunter on the main stairs. We'll be able to find one. Flawless round still in the cards. Merku 1 versus 5 and just has to dip away and rotate around. I'm gonna try and bait out the sort of strip club push here. So they're gonna look to make their way into the kitchen instead. Again, not able to get this silent breach open, but will actually be able to do it. The clash, however, is able to find their position, and Critical's actually going to go for the big trick shot, but it's Hunter with a run out. A flawless round for WeSports youngsters as they're able to take the half in a 6-0 fashion, not dropping a single round. What an absolute performance from them so far. This is what we needed them to do inside of the Champion Series, but they're looking to do it here in Titans instead.
I will say, just as, you know, as a Clash connoisseur myself, when the gauntlet is thrown down, the Knight's Code indicates that you must pick it up and challenge them in a duel to the death. And I feel like, you know, the Merku, the Maverick in that situation, backing down is, you know, it's not a brilliant sign, I will say. You know, you always got to back yourself in these situations. But now we're jumping into the other side, like you say, and it's going to be all on Puffi2K. They can't make a single mistake here. Otherwise, well, it will be match over. Match point currently sitting in the hands of WeSports in the 6-0.
Defenders, protect your
I'm still trying to, you know, get around that. This is a 6-0 demolition at the moment. But you know what? This is the best of 3, and that isn't even over yet. I know saying that will always bring it a little bit closer, but you've got to just work with me on this one, okay? Like, there's still a chance. It's interesting rotation being made up here by Impredenza. They have brought this Frost out to play. They are going to try and catch out their opponent with what they themselves were aware enough to dance around in the first round.
A strange Frost mat setup actually on the top of those red stairs. That could be huge if, you know, when you're pre-aiming up those red stairs to try and catch out one of those defending players, you might easily not catch the Frost mat and instead catch it with your feet instead. So, you know, it shows good, especially, you know, it's not even on site, so, you know, why would you think there'd be a Frost mat this far off site? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a good play from Puffi2K. You know, we have seen 8-6 comebacks from 6-0 deficit before. I think Fav Gaming versus Cloud9 inside of APAC North is the most recent one from memory. That was all the way back in stage 1 of 2021 season. So,
yeah,
you know, it hasn't happened in a while. And
the Pog mat on red is a Golimolu certified Frost mat. If I had to write a burp, that wouldn't be a true banger. Along with the top of garage stairs, that's the true... Oh, does he went to turn around to shoot his friend there? I'm not sure, was that a little bit inflicted friendly fire, or was that from the top of the staircase?
I think it was from the drone hole, possibly?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's certainly quite interesting that the critical will be taking down some damage regardless. Struso on top of the red stairs actually going to not die just yet. Spliz with the grenade will take down Floz, and this just goes from bad to worse for Puffi2K. More grenades coming in. I think the frost mat has been taken down. And, yeah, more drones coming through. Struso not able to get the pre-fire. That's Hunter with his 10th kill inside of this map. And if you think about it, we're only in round 7. That is an impressive number. Hunter with a second and Zarok to take one down as well. It's just feed 1 versus 5. And this is just the nail in the coffin. On the flank, however, but still, what can you do in this situation? No players are watching. Able to find one, denies the floor. Is actually able to find a second onto critical. And now this becomes slightly more possible. But Hunter, I think that's 12 kills inside of 7 rounds. What a performance. 7-0. Wow.
Yeah, that's a way to open up a series, if I do say so myself. I think,
way to open up a tournament.
From the side of WeSports, congratulations to them on taking that first map, but there is still potentially 2 more to go if Puffi2K can bounce back on Oregon. I believe our next arena will be. So, we're going to jump to a very short break. Grab yourself a drink, maybe grab a snack. Popcorn's always something I'd recommend. I love me some popcorn. And make sure you're back in about 10 minutes' time for the end of the break. We'll catch you then for map number 2.
Leaving them in a 4 versus 2. So Guji has the diffuser. They have 40 seconds left to go. Goody is going to pick up the Quetta and a second one, leaving themselves in a 2 versus 2. Things going out very, very even with both teams. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left.
Well, I mean,
Tension.
if they're wall banging him, he's gonna get some damage, but he does have 2 players. One behind him, they're gonna him. And he might get an ace! Oh no way! He runs away.
Like Lasmo sees the man repel, Cynics goes down, the C4 gets caught off, but the plant in the wrong position. Lasmo fine, will be 2 can on big window, trying to get some more intel. He knows where the man is. He doesn't have a C4 on hand, but the Frostmat in the 1v3 clutch situation. The last man on repel. All he has to do is hold it. He's not going for the diffuser. He can't go for the diffuser. A 1v3 clutch is so winnable. Lasmo with the swing and the 1v3 for Lasmo. That will be going in the books. That will be one of the biggest 1v3 we've seen.
Now they've got so much to do with one less player. Zarok not quite able to find the kill. There it is. Cynex. Zarok not really having the impact in the fragging department, but steps up when it matters, and this is certainly one of those times. The Selmas will come through, and actually Zarok gets a second.
Focus and the lack of awareness. There goes Zerat grabbing another. He's on a triple. He might potentially grab the quad if another player doesn't step
There it is.
And there goes the quad. Again, it's not up to Swan for that crosshairs away from it into the same group. And there goes Hunter grabbing the first pick. They're following that up, and that's Hunter with the second on the bench.
Gets shot from too many angles. Hunter is fell in the study. Contributing to this, takes his third, and now it's just Lasmo, and Hunter will find the fourth. A flawless round advantage. Looking down the red stairs, he is aware of this push, it seems like, and that sound cue will be all he needs. A free fire round, and there goes Matovs hitting the ground.
He have to do it, but also critical as well. He critical and P13 has to do surgery, but P13 also has to deal with this red stairs, and that's the diffuser that's so irresponsible for the squad. Send that stick to grab the kill, but he's not going to grab the second.
No way!
And P13, he's on for an ace. He just grabs 2 on 4.
There it is!
5. So that's the ace for P13.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this first matchup of the Titan series. Season 1, WeSports Youngsters versus Puffi2K. I'm Uncooked, joined by Golly Molu as for the rest of this evening. And, well, we saw a very swift 7-0 by WeSports Youngsters on their map pick Clubhouse, and we're going to be heading into Oregon, I believe. So it's map 2. So what do you think about Oregon? I think it's an okay map, but I want to know your opinion.
I think Oregon is a map which people are very set in their ways. I think people feel very comfortable. They don't really want to change up what they're doing. And I think generally teams will kind of let how it is be how it is. That being said, I think there's a lot of options for innovation when it comes to Oregon. I think there's a lot of ways teams can add something interesting to how the game's going to be played. They can change up their defenses, and I think a big part of that is making use of some of these lower floor bomb sites, having some sort of roam game that you can now add. We've seen recently teams start to try and implement a little bit more of a roam on the basement, which I think is always really lovely to see. I don't know, I like to see how teams go for that. And yeah, I think that sort of innovation is actually very interesting to see on Oregon. Classically, the map having been nicknamed Borregon, or kind of deemed as less popular or a little bit dull. I think there's some real options for teams to kind of spice things up a little bit, add some paprika into the pasta, if you know what I mean. Paprika pasta slaps, by the way.
I've never had it myself.
Budget.
Add a bit of chili pesto. That's usually what I tend to add. Just chili pesto on some filled pasta. Absolutely
Lovely
peach.
stuff.
But anyway,
pesto's great, isn't it? Sorry.
Pesto is great. We could probably spend the entire time of Oregon talking about our different pasta meals, but I think we're gonna head into the map now. Starting with the operator bands in just a second. What do you expect we will see?
Ooh, interesting. Well, I think we're going to see our beloved SAS operator on the attacking side of things.
Oh no, Sledge! Oh.
No, not quite. Although, look, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see yet another Thatcher ban, and I think with
maybe
seeing
another Buck.
Perhaps Buck definitely can have some influence. I mean, the historical use for the Buck was, you'd run that LATAM approach that they introduced at one point, where they started running these sort of small tower takes, taking control of showers and dining and kitchen, and then ripping open the floor into the dormitory and into bunks to try and clear out that space that no defenders could play in those common anchoring positions, and then they'd go for a big take, jumping in through the big window. Whether we see that kind of come in, I think that requires a little bit more coordination, and some teams aren't always a fan of it. I think the standard take is going to be going for, and I think, we might see the Flores ban. I think Flores is an excellent operator. Just in general, I think he's going to be very interesting in Oregon. So it'll be interesting to see as we jump into our map what these teams are going to go for. But that's my expectation on the attacking side of things. I think we'll see the Thatcher followed swiftly by Flores.
Yeah, I think as well on the defense, you obviously have your usual culprits. You have Mira. There's sort of a pool of 3 that you will get most likely 2 of them. Mira, Valkyrie, Kaid, because we've all spoken on massive lengths before on how those are really useful operators. Obviously, Mira, you have your one-way windows, the black mirrors, very, very useful. They let you see through the reinforcements. Get to the Hibana ban in a second, because that's also really interesting. But Valkyrie, you have your black eye cameras there. Is also really important. There's extra intel, you can hide them really well as well. So really difficult for the attackers to deal with. They essentially have to force pick an IQ.
If Puffi banned Kate here, I'm gonna be a little bit mad.
Yeah. So will I as well. I don't see the reason of banning the Thatcher when you're starting on the attack. Personally, especially on a map like Oregon, I think they probably will ban Cade.
Oh, they have to ban the Cade. Interesting.
they didn't actually ban Wamai, so it's going to be different from both teams, or from what we saw from the last map. Obviously, we saw Puffi2K ban the Kaid on Clubhouse, and it didn't really go too well for them. But
yeah, I mean, this is interesting to see. The mirror being finished up for WeSports. I mean, Cade is on the board, and I think when you hear WeSports in that situation, you recognise Thatcher's gone, the Cade's opened up. You're going to want to be playing that one all day long. You can't really blame them for taking that, and I think it'll be interesting to see what they use, especially on making this bottom floor site a little bit harder for Puffi2K to open up at the start, at least. The Maverick is going to be very important for this reason now, as it's the only really consistent way to bypass those electro claws. Carly, you have the Lance available, but a lot of teams don't like running into that Carly. No one on their team particularly wants to use it. The weaponry is...
I wonder why.
Yeah, it's not as wieldy as some other operators. But the lineup here coming out from Puffi2K is interesting. You know, you've got a good spread of grenades, running 8. Now, we saw in the last round of Clubhouse, it was actually WeSports on their attacking side. They brought themselves 6 grenades, and they used them really effectively to open up the defense. I will be interested to see how Puffi2K plan to use this. It does mean that they're investing a lot in this frag grenade utility. They don't really have the flashbangs to burn out, say, an ADS. But when you pair that with the fact that Wamai isn't gone, it definitely opens up more options for frag grenades to become that a bit more influential. And those ADSs, you know, they only eat up 1 charge at a time, so even 3 of them being stacked together, if you have 2 people with frag grenades next to each other, you don't have to use 3 of them to burn out the ADS, 1 more to get rid of that utility, get rid of the player, whatever you want from that grenade. And it's not the most effective use of them, you know, you could always have a flashbang, but I still think it's interesting to see what they're going to choose to do with them.
Yeah, it's certainly quite a lot. As you say, you know, 8, and then the Claymore coming out from Imprudenza as well, so they're definitely wary of these runouts, it would seem. Because, you know, you would tend to see an ace player bring along those soft breach charges. But, you know, Claymore, certainly interesting. We have seen kills with it in the past, definitely can be very influential, but, you know, 30 seconds has been burnt out now, and still Puffi2K are yet to really do anything. So we're seeing the same problems again as we saw in Clubhouse. You know, they're certainly too slow, they're just not gaining the map control that they need early enough, and it leads to a rushed execute that just does not work.
Yeah, I am intrigued by this downstairs setup from WeSports at the moment. You saw earlier Critical and Spliz downstairs with some reinforcements invested, as well as a couple castle barricades to lock down that lobby, and Hunter currently positioned inside of Walk-In, got the shield, got some ADSs and the mute jammer, just try and bunker this position down. That FO12 is not a weapon you want to be on the receiving end of. As well, it is a shotgun that goes incredibly rapid and does a lot of hurt. The option to fall back through the breach as well. You still got, you haven't got any other reinforcements, so when this gets given up, that will be an opening into sight. Imprudenza shutting down the run out from the castle. A nice attempt at catching them off guard. You did a lot of damage onto Imprudenza, the ace, the hard breach player, who does have a little bit of a knack for getting caught off guard. This time raring to go, a new map, a new Imprudenza, but falling back now, Hunter, through the site, through the rotation into sight, sorry, I should say. He doesn't want to give up the life early on now that you've lost the castle as well, but still playing quite tight to the couches area. That wall will get popped on, open up, and that will be the other, just a little bit more exposed. Have to be a little bit careful here. It's P15 also waiting with a shotgun in tow, but Struso,
wow,
a lovely timed frag grenade, perfectly done so, and well, that's a pick on the board as well.
Yeah, Zarok able to find the first one back for WeSports youngsters, as Struso will get taken down. It's a sledge off the board. Grenade not quite able to take down Spliz. Now 40 seconds left. We're at a little bit of a standstill again as this intel is being gained. Zarok with a second going to take down Mercury. That's the Maverick off the board as well. So now Ace, the only hard breacher left, and just going to swing this. Hunter not quite able to get the kill. And actually that's a team kill from Zarok onto Hunter. Will take down Imprudenza as well as some consolation, but still you get the idea that they get the sense that could have been played so much better. Zarok still onto the ace, so technically the hexa kill, if you want to think about it that way. Feed now pushing in through the breach will get caught off guard as well. Zarok not able to get the ace as Flood will fall down into pit, but that's going to be Spliz able to take him down. WeSports youngsters just able to bring that one back from the edge of destruction, all thanks to that one lesion with the 4K, but
Yeah,
team
lovely
kill as well.
5K. Yeah. You always the rule is you always count a team kill. And the reason for that is that you want to stat pads. Stat pads, pad stats. We're doing this a lot today. I do apologize. But you know what? Roll with the punches as they go.
Words are difficult.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, you go with the classic option. You just say English isn't my first language. It doesn't matter that it is. You just say that, and people would be like, "Oh, fair enough," and then they'll forget.
So yeah, my first language is Moronish, actually.
Nice, smooth. That's where you go completely left field. You're like, "Oh yeah, my first language is like Elvish or Klingon," and then people are like what kind of childhood did you have? You know, if you speak fluent Klingon, by the way, because Duolingo have a course in Klingon. I just want this to be out there. They have a course in Klingon.
They have a course in High Valyrian as well. That's the dragon language from Game of Thrones, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can also learn. Is it Draconic in Skyrim? You can also learn that somewhere. So. Yeah. I think it's also Duolingo. So, but if you speak any of those languages, social experiment. I want you to tell someone that's your first language and report back the results of what they say. But by the way, in that last round, WeSports did a great job of holding in the 3 versus 5 situation. Again, Puffi2K able to find picks, but not really able to work a bit. And I think we're seeing in that last round one of the problems they had in Clubhouse, which is that when they had these advantages, they weren't doing a brilliant job of just composing themselves and moving forward as a team to continue picking up frags. They started to almost just look too eagerly for these one-on-one engagements, and that's where the round starts to go south. And I don't want to say that I said last time around on Clubhouse, I don't want this to become a recurring issue because it's something that can be so hard to fix mid-map at times. You need to have a proper conversation about it and just almost stop the clock for a second. And I hope this doesn't ring true again, because now attacking this basement site with an upstairs roam, they're going to be much more careful at clearing out these players in good time and making sure they're giving each other support while doing so. Otherwise, they'll be losing too many players before they reach the site.
Yeah, we're not seeing very good time management again from Puffi2K. Already a minute being burnt out and nothing being done. The only damage inside of the game was just from an impact grenade onto P13. That was probably just them opening rotations by themselves. So, again, not much happening. It's a shame to see, actually, because Puffi2K, if they did really get a wiggle on, they probably would be the better team inside this matchup. You know, we're seeing how it's just individuals getting things over the line for WeSports. But
yeah,
the fact that Puffi2K is still letting that happen, you've got to ask for more. You've got to look for more, especially when you're in a league of this caliber. You know, this is the top 8 teams. You know, they were able to get through that lower bracket in the qualifiers, and that's good reason. These are still very good players, but they're just letting themselves down now as they're in the best of 3s.
Yeah, and now Murphy trying to open up this hatch, trying to give them some options in towards Freezer. And it is interesting that they haven't really attempted to tackle this bunker, instead focusing on Freezer and looking towards Laundry Stairs shortly. I'm sure they will be. That's the option. That's the kind of other way that teams will choose to take it. This triple stack inside of Freezer, though, going to be the first kind of approach towards the defense downstairs in the basement. Some shots ringing out from the T5 there, but not going to quite land with their target. Zarok trying to hold the attackers at bay for the time being, but Feed has those grenades in pocket. He's going to keep on going. And, well, some damage onto Spliz as they're walking down this staircase, still peeking from the hatch, but Critical upstairs, able to find Finker. That was a flank watcher in the kitchen doorway, rotating around towards the white stairs, getting caught off by the Jaeger. Luckily, dodging the timing.
No way!
Shot to take down Struso. A double kill for the Jaeger as a third. He's entering into his kingdom, and he makes it
Absolutely
his triple kill for Critical on the Jaeger. Swapping to the pistol as his bullets running low. With 15 seconds on their clock, the attack have more pressing issues. The diffuser still in the hands of the Thermite running down the main stairs, but a quadra kill from Critical, taking one with the P12, the P16, and well, that is going to be the round, ladies and gentlemen. 4 kills for the roaming Jaeger. I said the right Jaeger. I said they got to be careful for these roamers, and they get caught out. And a masterclass by Critical, roaming and causing problems. But Puffi2K, you have to have something prepared to deal with such a situation. I don't know what there was nothing in place to prevent it. I thought they'd done the roam clear.
Yeah, I'm lost for words, honestly. That it's the same problems again. It happened on Clubhouse, and it's now happening on Oregon as well. Just that they're just not able to. The refrag game is just not there. That is the thing that's really pulling them down. Is that the refrag game, they're not able to get these trades, and it's just leading to players that are able to just get. Both rounds we've had one player with a 4K and then another player getting the final kill in the round.
Yeah.
Granted, in the first round, it wasn't. It was a flawless in round 2. In the first round, the thing that stopped Zarek's Reign of Terror was getting killed, but it didn't really matter in the end because the crossfire, the angle was there because the timer was just running too low. And you saw the same thing again, 10 seconds left, and they just had to try and Hail Mary down into the bomb site. And of course it didn't work because it shouldn't. And WeSports are just they're a good enough team that it didn't.
Yeah, and it's always going to be a problem for them when they're trying to fight out these hard positions that are being held by WeSports. I mean, that time, it wasn't even a hard position, it was just a player playing in a good spot and just holding tight. I don't really know what to say. I mean, they're attacking now into kitchen dining. In theory, for Puffi2K, this is a round you have to pick up. But Critical, once again, somehow able to find a pick onto Struso, who'd done so much damage to him. He's able to hit the shot with the NK-17. I'm sorry, at a certain point, you're going to wonder how they're continuously getting away with this now as well. Hunter is going to be the next one in for an engagement. They've already opened up the breach. This is really good timing from Puffi2K. They're already starting to open up the breach. They're starting to probe their way towards the site and looking for more picks. But Spliz still playing alive in Shower Corridor. I feel like this should have been removed. Feed, able to finally shut down the Frost. That's Hunter. The player inside a Shower removed. And that gives them a little bit more options as they want to try and make their way forwards. I'm sure we'll see the Shower get taken over by the attack relatively soon. Improdenza, able to find out Spliz. That's just smoke off the table as well. This is an option for them to now go in for this plant. There's no nitro cells, there's no smokes. There's really nothing to stop them from planting. They're going to fully open up this breach. That will give them just a little bit more options. It's all on P13 now. He's the big linchpin of this defense on Cooked as they're entering the second half of the round. And they're looking to set themselves up for a plant.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to be optimistic for Puffi2K. We've seen them throw these man advantages away before, but Critical with the DMR, his play is going to be severely hindered by that fact. Zarok pushing up will be able to deal some damage to Feed, but he's going to get lit up to about 1 HP as well. Finger Boost coming in for the attackers as well, and this could finally be the first round for Puffi2K inside this matchup. And I've already voiced my dislike of DMRs because you can't really pre-fire. Zarok will be able to find Feed. It doesn't matter how much health you have as long as you're still able to fire. Merkur will take down Zarok, but Critical with a double. DMR doing work apparently. I still don't like it, but if it works, then it works. The diffuser has been planted though, 30 seconds left, and Merkur just looking to rotate out, can't quite get through the breach. As Critical with the run out, actually just peek, not able to find the angle as the exterior decorations, I suppose, the little bits of wall, to be able to take that one down. About 10 seconds now before this diffusal needs to be stuck. And P13 with the cover. Looks like they know the position. Do they even know that the diffuser's going down? This cannot be another round for WeSports, but it is! And they get away with murder! Somehow, Critical is able to defuse it. I don't like this. It's 10 rounds in a row now for WeSports youngsters, as Puffi2K not able to find even a round inside of this best of 3 series. The look on your face says it all, Golu. Both casters have their heads in their hands right now. That shouldn't happen. No.
Yeah,
No.
Where to start?
Attackers need
I think
to
that's
locate and defuse
that's
as
the
many
first one to
bombs
figure
as
out.
they can.
What to look at first? Overall, a very well played round by Puffi2K. They did a good job getting themselves in positions, opening up the breach, moving in for a plant. They did a really good job of recognizing that the Jaeger was playing on the hatch upstairs, or at least that there was the threat from the hatch upstairs, and instead playing the diffuser in the corner from shower corridor instead, where it's a level safer. You have that cover fire. All really nice
10
adaptations
seconds left
from
before
Puffi2K on their assault. And then
5 seconds remaining.
it fell apart. And that's the really real way to say it, that it just fell apart. The post plant, whilst initially looking very clean, just the awareness from them not recognizing that the diffuser was being tapped was the problem. And well, Zarok back to his old ways, looking for spawn peaks.
For a
That's
second,
the
I thought that
smoke.
was the P13's pre-fire with a pistol onto the
Yeah,
wheel.
that's a smoke taking a peek, finding the Yana. Not a brilliant start for the round.
Dear.
And I mean, an adaptation again. They're no longer playing this Ella in the corner. They've got Zarok on the smoke. Still going to be holding it tight with the shotgun. Still going to be causing problems. And we didn't really see a brilliant way for Puffi2K to work around this, and they've just lost their thermite again, and 4 rounds in, it's already not looking good for them. Struso finally able to pick up a retaliation pick that's critical going down the Goyo, and well, critical has been doing so much damage to them across this series, yet alone this map. That is a very good pick for them to find. Are starting to make their way through Attic now. This is the first bit of control you need, but with the loss of that thermite, the best bit of action might be for Mercu to start moving around. Yes, you have that opening inside of the main breach, but you still have a reinforcement in the pocket of the defense should they choose to fall back through this hole here. As you're seeing the smoke get a little bit overzealous. Flaws, you couldn't be missing the shots. The head was hanging around the corner. It was presenting itself tied with a bow. Hunter instead on a flank elsewhere, picking up Mercu as Spliz with the MK17ER finding yet another kill. Struso on a triple kill for the round though. And you have to ace clutch if he wants to bring this round home for his team. Puffi2K still yet to find their first round in the series. Is this their opportunity to do so? Struso, 3K in pocket, 2 more to find uncooked, and I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a player who's going to be able to step up to this, it's going to be Struso. He's done a good job so far, but does he have it in him to find the remaining 2?
I don't know. It's gonna be. It would also be a 1 versus 4 clutch if it were to happen. So very impressive. Even able to finding these 2 inside of it is very good. However, I don't know if he's aware of the Aruni's position. Rooney certainly will be aware of his, and it's going to be the pre-fire. Spliz will be able to take down Struso. It's a shambles right now. 4 rounds in a row, actually technically 11 rounds in a row for WeSports youngsters, and this is just an avalanche that's just getting worse and worse and worse. The snowball expanding, growing larger. So we're going to head back down to the laundry supply room. I am in disbelief still from how round 3 was able to fall into the hands of WeSports, and that's got to be a tilter if ever there was one. Just, you know, the lack of intel again is horrific. it honestly is not something that should be happening at this level, and this is just obviously Puffi2K. They're not out of the running yet. They still have that lower bracket inside this group because obviously it is GSL style. But even still, should this be happening? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where to start with it. I'll be honest. I think it's just generally not worked out for them on any level whenever they've tried anything. WeSports just seem to have it, and it's so difficult when you're in a situation like this where you struggle to find your footing in the first map and the same continues through to the second. The biggest battle at the moment for Puffi2K might just be the mental one, because quite frankly, this hasn't been an encouraging start for them. And I mean, WeSports show no sign in faltering. All their players have been able to pick up kills. I mean, P13 yet to get on the board this round, this map. But he's also yet to die this map. He hasn't actually seen anyone yet. Wait, no, he has. He's died 3 times. Never mind. I'm reading the KDA wrong.
KAD.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's
brain.
pretty impressive, but no, it is in fact KDA. Sorry for that, P13. Find a kill, I guess. But
yes, top tier advice from Golly Molly the caster: just kill people.
If anyone's looking for a coach, I'm here all week. I have good advice such as use gadgets, left button to kill. Such pearls of wisdom can only really come from me. But as we're a minute into this round, Puffi2K starting to make their way through. They've arrived at meeting. The problem is P13 is still hidden away upstairs. He's shot the radio out, so that might give some indication, maybe the bullet will be like, hey, I'm playing over here. It's kind of like Marco Polo. But Mr. Ku, or Merku, able to find out Hunter, and that's, well, the first pick coming in their favor now as the Hunter, obviously on that Cade, the Nitrous head off the board, that's going to help you on your attack, especially for later on, as, well, they're running a little bit low on time here on Cook. They're already half the way through the round, a minute 30 gone, a minute 30 remaining, and only starting to work on the Z-bot tracks now.
Yeah, especially with the Maverick, this is going to take quite a while because it's just not as strong as maybe a Habana. Instead of using the thermite. It's, good use of the Adrenal Surge to get Struso back up, but P13 might go uncaught, might go unpunished, and actually going to whiff his shots onto Merku. The drone inside the kitchen now activated has to back away through the small tower. Actually will go through security instead. Will he take the hatch drop? Yes, he will. He tries to get back to site. There is a Thunderbird, but the nade comes through. Will take down Zarok. So a man advantage for Puffi2K. Actually, another nade to come through, this time from Feed, and now 2 versus 3 for P13 and Critical. Critical, the only one with kills inside of this round. However, P13 still has opportunity to make an impact yet. Critical now peeking into the E-box. Nades will not be able to catch him, and the pre-fire will be able to take down one, the Yana, but the run onto the site from Impredenza will be able to take him down. The trade from P13 onto Floz, and now he has to try and find the remaining 3. I'm not going to say anything about Puffi2K's chances because we saw how well that worked out in round 3.
There's
but
no
now P13, he's so right. Yeah, they shouldn't. If they do, that is some serious question marks. But the angle is being watched. Struso will be able to take them down. Finally, the first round inside of this best of 3 series will come in round 5 of map 2. It's a little bit late.
It's never too late. Look, when you're invited out, like, oh yeah, turn up at 7, right? If you turn up at 7, you're not doing it right. You've got to be fashionably late. Puffi2K up, and they've picked up the first round here. I feel like they found their footing. They know what they're doing now. This is where we see the comeback tear. No rounds dropped. The absolute streak. They're going to stomp through the rest of this series. But before we get ahead of ourselves, they still have one more attack to make. It's on to kitchen and dining. So interestingly, WeSports choosing not to return to the site in the basement, which they just lost, going back upstairs and trying to attempt that one once again. A reminder though, for anyone who's maybe it slipped their mind, or maybe they just wanted to slip it from their mind, as I kind of did. The last time that Puffi2K attacked onto this site in this game, they should have won.
Yeah.
They had a 4 versus 3 in a post-plant situation. Came down to 2 versus 2, and infamously Critical just held the diffuser, the ninja diffuse, in a very uncomfortable position where neither Merku nor Floz were able to disrupt Critical as he set that one away.
Yeah.
This time though, they seem to have a slight, I'm sure they've realised what the mistake was there, and it was not stopping the diffuse. So I feel like with the way they played out the round, they actually had a really good understanding of how they wanted to attack. If they do the same thing again, but just slightly change the ending, you're looking at a pretty solid round for them here.
Yeah, this 4-2 half, which is, you know, the sort of standard, the accepted, still possible for Puffi2K right now. But it's a big if. Looking at previous record, it is a big if. Obviously, that 1 round win will be a great boost, but still, you're looking for, you know, a few rounds in a row to shake this off entirely. Drones will get taken down as well as pre-fires coming through. Small Tower now pretty much entirely in the control of Puffi2K, but Critical with the first pick onto Mercury. That Mark 14 will be doing bits right now. The information is there as well. He's just going to try and get the pre-fire. Nothing will come of it. 1 minute burn, 2 minutes to go. Struso takes down Zarok, so that's your smoke going down. That's your plant denial gone. Interesting shield setup here on top of the tables, as Flo's not able to take down Spliz, who's just pre-firing round. And this utility from WeSports is just such a barrier right now, and it's such a one-dimensional take as well. We've gotta say, not really great use of the map from the attackers right now. It's, you know, these Saya laser gates and the Goyo shields, everything just is standing in the way right now. Spliz will have to retreat as a grenade will take down his shield, and they're getting pushed further and further back. They can always spring onto the retake. They can always spring into action, especially with these long angles as well, such as the one into the showers, and Critical as well inside the security. Is able to open up the rotate as well. It's scary. I'm scared for Puffi2K right now.
Yeah, the 4 versus 4, you know, it's not a terrible situation to be. It's just a little bit difficult, especially with Goyo playing so tight on this kitchen doorway. It gives that extra angle to draw to anyone who tries to stick down a defuse plant option, and that's what you have to be so worried about. Imprudenza looks like he's going to instead try and go for this wall. I mean, I think that's an interesting option. Rather than trying to move into the shower corridor, that's where they got the success from last time. With 30 seconds left, not really able to find the way to get that ectomic charge down as Hunter finds another kill. That's Struso going down. The sledge off the board as well as Critical finding one in the shower corridor. He has the backing of Hunter as the two of them look to continue their reign of terror down this hallway. Flo's looking for an opening here. Can't quite land the shots. The SMG-11 in the hands of Hunter will do the job and feed in a 1 versus 4. There's no hope for redemption in this round. WeSports take another round. They recover from their little slip up earlier on, and they bring it back to 5-1 at the half-time. And, well,
still doable in regulation as well for Puffi2K. They can just emulate the defensive success that WeSports had on Clubhouse, then it's entirely possible. They do, however, just 2 rounds for WeSports will seal the series. So, potato, you know, you have this, you know, this series is defender-sided. But WeSports has started on the fence both times, and they've absolutely torn through Puffi2K. So, really, can you put much merit in that? We're going to have to wait and see. But Kid Storm's coming through for Puffi2K right now.
It's definitely a little bit difficult to say that the series is completely defender-sided, because half of the attacking wins have come from WeSports. They've only played 1 attacking round.
Yeah. That is true, that is true.
So, it's, you know, it's hard exactly to say, but I think WeSports should be feeling somewhat comfortable on this attack, and you can see from the way their drones are set up, they have the Maverick and the Yana positioned already with the sledge towards this big tower, and I'd imagine the Ace and Zofia, they will be positioned towards getting open the walk-in closet, getting open this games breach for that 2-pronged assault. The thing I'd really like to see to add to this is later in the round, one of the Sledge or Yana, perhaps even the Zofia, but I think removing too much presence from your games and trophy area is a little bit of a red flag. I think you want to rotate one of them to big window. You put some pressure on big window and shut down any of the rotations and try to stop these drawing of long angles from bunks that defenders want to try and do. The big thing for me though, now, you're looking at this roam setup, they've reinforced downstairs meeting, they have the attic hatch open. This is an interesting way of trying to slow down time, but Struso, if they're getting quite aggressive, managing to dodge the bullets from the attackers already on that rear tower stage stairway, going to fall back towards the sandbags.
Yeah, just this roam doing a good job so far of slowing down WeSports. But will it be able to happen forever? No impact grenades left for Struso, so we won't be able to try and open up any more of that vertical as Feed comes to join him as well. Trying to get the vertical angle through the hatch, actually, it looks like. Still nothing opened up so far. We had a minute left. Maverick starts to open things up now as P13 will take some damage inside of the closet. Master bedroom will be falling, and Struso actually taken down by Zarok. And that's a lovely kill from Hunter, takes down Merku on the site. And now 5 versus 3 for WeSports. They have all... The nade will be prepped. I don't know if the ADS will take it out. Yes, it will. The second one to come through will take down all of the utility. Floz with the DMR able to take down one, and actually Imprudenza with the pre-fire not quite able to find two, as Critical will get the refrag. However, now definitely in a much better position as Critical is injured. I think in the frost mat actually was not taken down. I thought that would have done the grenade's radius not quite enough. However, from the site window, Hunter will take down one, not able to find the second as Floz is there. Has the intel as well, knows where Spliz is, but the health advantage is so much in the hands of Spliz, and with the LMG as well, they can just hold down the left click button.
And the fire rate to get that damage through.
Yeah, this is why I prefer using an automatic, because you have the fire rate. You don't need to just rely on how quickly you can click that. You can pre-fire. Obviously, the pre-10 only has 16 bullets, so make of that what you will. But still, you have the fire rate. You have a better opportunity to flick onto people to find those kills. But now WeSports, they take match point, they take series point, 6-1 up right now. As Puffi2K, they're going to need a clean 5 rounds in a row to at least secure overtime, to at least have a chance to get to that third map. And even then, they
I think at this position, Puffi2K obviously no more mistakes. It's do or die now, and unfortunately, die is probably going to be the option they have available to them. WeSports on that last attack suffered a little bit actually from something that Puffi2K did, or have done throughout the series, which is that they just slipped up when they had that numbers advantage. They stopped playing off of each other as well. I mean, their attempt at trying to pick up a refrag, they got up the refrag in pit, but then fell into the frost map. A little bit unfortunate, because that does happen sometimes, but still, they didn't make... I feel like they had a little bit of time available. They could have slowed down and pushed in at the same time, which might have been able to cause a little bit more problems for the remaining defenders. But either way, they had a really good understanding of the pressure they wanted to apply. Having that the Yana on Kid's window, that's just going to continue to slow things down, prevents that movement of the defense. And we saw Struso on the Aruni, that's the name of the operator, was just stuck in bunks, couldn't really move around too much, but already the rush coming through. Oh, they've just completely stormed bunker, they've stormed site, they found themselves 3 very quick kills. Struso able to quickly shut one down though, P13 injured. Could use the Finger Boost to revive themselves, but Zarok continuing to hold on site on Pillar. Eventually we'll see that Finker pick herself on and back up. But the 3 versus 1 for Struso, I don't even know how quickly they got in there. They just sledgehammered open the barricade and completely began to storm the castle. Zarok putting the diffuser down. Plenty of time, but Struso has to make a move. And now it's been clipped. Although they're able to find the central takeaway. Can't
no.
P13 able to see through with the LMG. And, well, that is our series, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
7-0, 7-1 for WeSports. After 1 round in their opening of Titan series, and we even get to see Critical's lovely Ace MVP animation, the blogger himself. I do find it quite amusing that they turned Ace into a TikTok star.
Well, that's always...
It's an interesting way to have him, you know, bring in the TikTok extraordinaire. But I mean, that was our first game of Titan series. The best 3 being a little bit quicker than some might have anticipated. I, for one, certainly thought we might see it go a little bit longer. But that just, you got to give the credit of that to WeSports. They did a brilliant job of just holding back every approach that Puffi2K tried to throw at them, and ultimately they're looking scary for the other teams in Titan series here.
Yeah, definitely a very strong showing. Only dropping one round inside of 2 maps is definitely nothing to scoff at, even if
Yeah.
maybe you question the strength of the opponent. Either way, you've got to give it to WeSports. They have definitely come out in full force. They've learnt a lot from the Titan series, and it definitely shows. Which GG's to them. I think we've given quite a lot of the insight already. Puffi2K not really showing up as much as you would want them inside of this matchup. I think you can agree there, Golu.
Yeah, not quite as ideal as one would want. I believe, though, that we do in fact have an interview waiting for us. I believe it's critical from
Hello.
WeSports, who just obviously had
Hello.
a little bit of a stunning performance there. So welcome. Initial thoughts after that game? You must be feeling at least a little bit happy with yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of myself and my team because it's like one of the first games we played with the stack because P13 is new, and we played really well together. We had
Very on point, especially.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, sorry.
No, you're right. Please continue.
Okay, yeah, I'm a bit nervous. That's like my first interview. I don't know, but
Don't be nervous.
I wanted to say that I was like happy that I have performed again.
Yeah.
Like the last matches I played so bad, 2 and 12 I remember in the match of Loud, and now I'm happy that I've played well.
Yeah, I think looking back to Oregon as well, you were an absolute menace on the roam with the just in general. Like what it's so difficult to come up with questions considering that you guys just demolished Puffi2K so easily. What sort of stood out to you about Puffi2K, or about even your own team, how well you were playing or how well they were playing?
I mean, they attacked really like slowly, so we could prepare on that attack and like could easily frag them out because they were only like in positions where we had the overhand, and that's what I would say outplayed them. That's why we outplayed them, yeah.
I think that's a very fair comment. I mean, especially in the defenses, throwing back to Clubhouse, you guys looked very prepared for this heavy style of roaming. You ran a lot of the Oryx when looking at your bedroom sides, even your basement holds. I mean, that bar hold was a little bit quirky as well, but again, you
Yeah.
had that strong roam presence. Is that something that you were just going for anyway, or was that a specific adaptation when you realized, well, Puffy are taking a little bit too much time approaching us, maybe we can make that even harder? Or is
Mm,
just you go to style of play, you really like just getting in the attacker's face and causing some problems?
I would say both, because I mean we made good analytics about them, and we knew how they will attack. So I've prepared the defense strats which we will play. But after we saw how they will play and that they will play like the analytics,
Yeah.
we just continued.
Nice. So a mixture of just solid preparation, but also just realizing where you could punish them even harder. I do have something I want to ask because
Mhm.
it was it was definitely interesting to see, but there was a slight attachment that we noticed you had a tendency to pick up on the RX as well as on that Eldor and Maestro. Is there what's the secret sauce behind bringing the suppressor into play? Is there something magical about it, or is it just a bit of fun?
Nah, I just like the sound of it. I mean, we've lost the basement round on Oregon, maybe due to me having a suppressor on the Thunderbird, because Thermite was 1 HP, and maybe if I would have killed him, we would have won the round. But I don't know. It's about the sound. The weapon sounds really nice with the suppressor.
Fair enough. I mean, the thing is, that's what we theorized as well. So that's really really funny. Is sort of what we said as a throwaway gag that's actually the actual reason.
I love that.
That is brilliant. I don't think we have anything else to say to you. So this is now your chance to, take the floor, give any, shout outs to any fans, or just, say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Kayo and his girlfriend Ronja. Really good. And thank you guys for the cast.
Pleasure. Thanks for putting on such a stellar performance. And I mean, I don't know, I'm sure the same is true for you, Uncooked, but I can't wait to see WeSports back in action in their next game. Just see who's next on the chopping block for them. But we'll have to see when it comes to it. But thank you so much for showing some insight into suppressors for us, and as well as just the general team chemistry. And I can't wait to see how you guys progress throughout the season. I mean, already looking quite scary on from early days.
Yeah, same. Then have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too. Bye.
Goodbye.
Well, very insightful interview there, actually, with Critical, especially with we finally know the secret behind the suppressor as well. Either way, I think that's gonna wrap us up pretty nicely here for today's match. 7-0, 7-1, a swift 2-0 victory for WeSports YGS versus Puffi2K, and the next broadcast you will see is going to be it's actually going to be from Group B, QVG Esports versus Oracle Esport, and that's going to be Rick and Morty and Squishy taking you through that one, which should always be a blast. But nevertheless, that is going to be it from me. I've been Uncooked, and the man next to me has been Golu Molu. We've thoroughly enjoyed this matchup, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm not going to join in with that. See you next time.
How about jazz hands?
Jazz hands. I'll do that. I'll do the jazz hands. See you later, everyone.
Bye.